What's up everybody, I'm Max, and on today's Fix of Gaming News, Elden Ring's creator is open to the idea of a feature film adaptation of his hit RPG. Before you get too excited about the Steam summer sale, you may want to know how much money we've collectively spent on unplayed games in our pile of shame. And finally, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero's latest trailer reveals a few more playable characters joining its ridiculously big roster. Let's get into it. In recent years, two popular trends in entertainment media have been adaptations of video games and adaptations of stuff written by, at least partially, George R.R. Martin. So why not the best of both worlds, like, say, Elden Ring? Creative director Hidetaka Miyazaki was asked about the idea of a movie or show based on the game, and he's open to the idea as long as whoever's doing the adapting is willing to get good. In an interview with The Guardian, the Fromsoftware president explained, quote, "I don't see any reason to deny another interpretation or adaptation of Elden Ring, a movie for example, but I don't think myself or Fromsoftware have the knowledge or ability to produce something in a different medium, so that's where a very strong partner would come into play. We'd have to build a lot of trust and agreement on whatever it is we're trying to achieve, but there's interest, for sure." FromSoft's games have dense lore, but they're not exactly known for accessible storytelling, and just as players are expected to overcome the challenges of playing the games, figuring out what the hell is going on in them requires a certain amount of scrutiny, reading between the lines, and when all else fails, hour-long lore explainer videos on YouTube. So in terms of an adaptation, the lack of a tightly structured narrative could give whoever's bringing Elden Ring to a new medium a wide margin of creative freedom. On the other hand, parsing the lore to figure out what's there to be adapted might prove to be a challenge of its own. Amazingly, the only official adaptation of Elden Ring that exists right now is the manga Road to the Erd Tree, which is a total spoof of the source material, starring a dude named Asio who walks around half naked with a couple of flasks stuck to his butt cheeks, and Godric the Grafted is presented as a fashionista who's obsessed with what this season's hottest grafted limbs are in Lionel. So maybe FromSoft will troll everybody, and the Elden Ring movie will be like a high fantasy Leslie Nielsen movie. Either way, sign me the hell up. Moving on, our next story is equal parts public service announcement and cautionary tale. For starters, the Steam summer sale kicks off today, and if you're a PC gamer, you already know the drill. But if you're new here, basically there are a bunch of ridiculously good discounts on games, and you can find, new sales and discounts going on every day. If you've been entertaining the thought of grabbing a Steam Deck, the 64 gig LCD model is on sale for just under $300, which is a few bucks cheaper than a new Nintendo Switch. With all the other stuff on sale, you can very easily stock up on a whole lot of games to keep you busy with that for quite some time. But that's also how people wind up with massive backlogs of unplayed games, the dreaded pile of shame, if you will. If you've ever been curious how much money PC players actually spend on Steam games that they've never played, well, brace yourself, because PC Games N ran the numbers, and the rough estimate is $19 billion. Here's how the math breaks down. Only around 10% of Steam accounts are public. There are about 73 million of those in the Steam ID Finder database, and those accounts have collectively purchased around $1.9 billion worth of games that have remained untouched. Multiply that number by 10 to account for the 90% of private accounts, and you've got a pretty impressive conservative estimate. Bear in mind, the prices of games have likely fluctuated, but it also probably doesn't account for games that people played for like 10 minutes and then backburnered indefinitely. You can calculate the value of your own pile of shame at SteamIDfinder.com, or you can add to your pile of shame by grabbing a bunch of stuff that's on sale on Steam. The summer sale is going on between now and July 11th. Consider yourself and your wallet warned. This is not like a sponsored thing or anything. We just thought you might want to know how much money people spend on games that they don't actually play. Another big exciting video game thing that's going on right now is Gamescom Latin America, and a bunch of new trailers and gameplay have been coming out of that. We just got one for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero that shows 12 new characters being added to that massive roster of, I think people think it's going to be like 164 characters or something like that, but bear in mind the characters are counting the various transformations. Still, a lot of different characters to play as. The trailer, appropriately titled Swords vs. Fists, features a handful of characters known for using swords. You got Future Trunks, who's got his Dragon Ball Super outfit and his sword. That one's a no-brainer. You've also got Deborah, who's got that gnarly, demonic scimitar. And last but not least, you got Yajirobe, everybody's favorite lazy jerk with a katana who occasionally uses the katana to save the day. Speaking of lazy characters, there's also Mr. Satan, or Hercule as he's known in a lot of places where the satanic name doesn't fly. He's also playable, and it's going to be really fun to see exactly how they make arguably one of the weakest characters in all of the Dragon Ball pantheon remotely viable in a fighting game. By all logic, he should just get one hit it and just completely knocked out. I mean, he just vaporized completely. If you're hoping to find out more about the game and how these characters all fit together, I'm told that we have some brand new gameplay going up tomorrow, along with new info from the devs about what Sparking Zero is doing to continue that great Budokai legacy. A bunch more trailers dropped from Gamescom Latin America, and you can expect to see more going into the weekend. The Gamescom LATAM Friday show kicks off tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern, and there's another one at 7 a.m. Pacific on Saturday. You can catch both of those right here on IGN. That about does it for this edition of the Daily Fix. If you're not already, make sure you're following and subscribe to IGN on your platform of choice. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time.